So welcome back to my channel. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you might be wondering about my hashtag baked brows. So for those of you who wonder how I do my brows today and why I consider them baked, then go ahead and keep on watching. This produces a much more natural look. I think the much more natural brows kind of coming back in, whether you are able to have that look naturally or if you have to kind of pencil it more in. And also the wave of tattoo trends for brows is also you know, the new kind of just feathered lightly in. And so if you want to know how I do my brows, just keep it. Now I kind of accidentally came up with this concept. I was applying my brows like, you know, like normal, and then I thought they looked way too intense and drawn in, and so I just kind of powdered over them, and they always kind of looked harsh, and I was like, wait, this is just exactly. So I was like, we'll save the frame for last. Alright, so a lot of you guys know that baking and setting and contouring and all that stuff is really big on YouTube, so I was just like, why not create a natural brow with baking? I was heavily inspired by the new version of tattooing the brows, which is kind of flicking away skin and kind of stenciling them in, placing the ink in. I'll have the actual word scroll here across the screen. And I actually did ask my hairdresser all about it because you need a separate license to do permanent makeup. And I wasn't asking because I wanted to do permanent makeup as a job. I was asking because I was interested in having it done. She said it's excruciating. They literally have to scar up the eyebrows, which mine are already scarred, but aside from that, it's a lot more scarring, and they literally leave ink where the scar is. Looking at old pictures of myself, I was like, girl, the brows are way too heavy. I'm doing everything, I guess in my power to offset how thin my brows actually are. And then I'm like, you know, I know that thin brows are not in style anymore, but there is such thing as, you know, when it comes to drawn on brows at least, you know, there is such thing as Groucho, a little Groucho Marxy. Anywho, I was born with fairly thin brows, and then in the 90s we all loved to overly thin them out. Look at past pictures of people like Drew Barrymore and just TV shows in the 90s. The brows were kind of obliterated the way that they were done in the 30s. And so if you were about my age, born in the 80s, you might have very thin brows yourself, or born in the late 70s. The very first product I'm going to be taking in this video is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow, and we're going to be taking an Isabella Phantom angled brush and just get some of that product on there. I want more product on the brush because I don't want to keep going back and forth into the pot, just because I want to keep my hand pretty fluid as this. So starting at the back, if you're nearsighted like me, definitely get yourself a little mirror. And the heaviest point should be the tail end of the brow. The area with the most amount of contour should be the tail. And I like to fill in the bottom and start creating my arched shape. And I like my brow product to match my hair, so even if you have to go outside the box, I would definitely do so. And I like the Dip Brow Gel because it's kind of a wax mixed with color. It's kind of like a gel formula. I think it's actually supposed to be pronounced pomade, but I call it pomade. I don't really know which one is wrong or right, but here in the US, in California, we refer to like the hair wax as pomade. It could be wrong. And so now I'm just going to start doing little feathery, edgy strokes as I move towards the mid to the top of the brow. Does that make sense? If I confused you, refer back to the motions that I'm giving, because I definitely am more of a visual learner and teacher, which they say is the worst student, but I think there's just different kinds of people in the world. Who classifies this crap anyway? So I'm just gonna continue pushing it towards the front of the brow, creating that sort of fine baby hair thing that, you know, became known on Instagram as the ombre brow, which we're not really trying to get such an artificial effect. But then again, the HD brow technically wasn't necessarily either. They were kind of trying to do the same you know, concept as the brow fading towards the front. So you could see that we didn't completely outline the entire brow. We just kind of did that from the bottom and worked our way to the front. If you've seen some of my recent posts on Instagram, I hashtagged the word baked eyebrows, and so this is exactly what I kind of came up with. I went to a makeup class years ago, and she took one look at me before she applied makeup on me and was just like, wow, we're gonna have to do the eyebrows first before we begin anything. And so I've been doing them kind of that way ever since, but kind of taking matters into my own hands because I know my own face, and now I just do the brows last because it produces not only just a more natural look, but a lot less product waste and a lot less back and forth. And the brow does stay on once all the skin is powdered over because it kind of creates like a lock and a seal. So the natural eyebrow should not be too much longer than the eye. So that is so far the brow. Of course you can etch underneath the brow using some concealer. I already have all my full makeup done, so I don't think that is neither here nor there. That's not necessary, especially if you're somebody who uses eye primer, and I think it just creates a kind of a crazy 3D effect. So not my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I'm going to be taking the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in Light 18. Pick whatever shade works for you. This is fairly close to my skin tone. And then we're going to be taking the Sigma Precision Flat P80 brush. You can see it's like a little kabuki for your face. It's like kind of like a little finger. And this is actually a very light, airy concealer. It's not saying it doesn't do what it's intended to do, which is conceal tattoos, but it does have a light, airy texture for as pigmented as it is. I got it home and then I was like, it doesn't say tattoo concealer or tattoo coverage on it. Did I get the wrong concealer? And I was like, I'm not quite sure why everybody calls it the tattoo coverage concealer. I think that's its purpose, but it's certainly not its name, unless they change the name, and that's something I don't know then. So I've really only been buying Kat Von D again since she personally went vegan and made an effort to make her cosmetic line cruelty free. I'm going to be taking the e.l.f. HD Soft Luminous Powder. And I really don't know all the ins and outs of business, so if you're wondering why I don't really bring up the words vegan cruelty free too much more on my channel, it's not that I definitely still follow that mantra when it comes to buying products. I just don't want to slam companies if I don't really know what's going on in their facilities. So I'm going to be taking this little e.l.f. powder puff. The Luminous is nice. I really love the Luminous HD powder. It's not sparkly, but I love it because it's not as drying. Completely natural. You can see where they're kind of etched in to look more natural than they could have been. Okay everyone, so that completes today's video. I hope that you all sincerely enjoyed this. I have a lot of fun things coming up. I have some reviews. Some companies have sent me some really awesome products. Companies such as Touch and Soul, which I think is going to be sold at Sephora soon unless they pulled out of that. But also I have a lot of cool purchases of my own. You saw that I used a drugstore product today and the Kat Von D concealer. So we will have things coming up using those products or reviews, whichever I think is kind of like necessary. Obviously I don't think that a review on the e.l.f. HD powder is completely necessary. Maybe we can talk about uses for it, uses for HD powders in general to avoid flashback. If that's something that you're interested in, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Also, off topic, my hair is a lot shorter. This is kind of a longer than normal bob. It's not exactly a lock, it's a little longer. I wasn't quite ready to completely cut it all off because it took me so long to grow it out. But my hair was very unhealthy, very like the last 4 inches. So that was the deciding factor on the haircut. I'm kind of, the bangs are a little less choppy and they're a little bit longer. I'm kind of going to do the 70s bang with the 70s shag. Shags will be coming back in style soon. They were shown at all the hair shows this year in Burbank. And so yeah, and I did add a lot more red violet again, or more violet base to it. So it's definitely actually 1 shade darker, my base level is. And then we have a lot more kind of like apple caramel highlights. They're a little darker than apricot because we did tone them up. So that goes back and forth. Some people love me with long, some people love me with short. And at the end of the day, you just gotta make yourself feel beautiful. So I'll see you guys in the next video. And thank you for watching this one. It's been real fun. Feel so healthy. So healthy. So healthy. I love it. I love it a lot. I like the lengths. I feel like I can grow it or cut it or